All right, folks, part two of our expansion into the Disneyland Resort. And we just finished off at DCA, and now we are at the one, the only, the OG, not this OG, the OG park that started it all, Disneyland Park.
Yes, here we go.
So we're going to get to it, and hope you guys enjoy.
Yep. All right, so our first stop is Bayou Country.
And
George has some speculation, some theories. Take our hand as we walk to Speculation Town, USA.
ooh, I like that.
Speculation Town, USA. Walking down the famed Main Street, USA, here at the best theme park in the history of mankind, Disneyland.
And then in the distance, you see, you gotta get your window, bro.
Oh, bro! I mean, come on, man. You know, we talk about special access a lot here on the channel, but I don't think people understand how much special access I have. I mean, look at that.
You got your own window.
I got my own window here on Main Street, bro. All that shilling paid off. Doing big things over here.
Doing big things.
Making CEO moves.
There you go.
But in all seriousness, yeah, we're walking down Main Street. Go ahead, George. I apologize.
No, you're fine. And then as you can see, we're walking up to Sleeping Beauty Castle. It is much smaller than Cinderella Castle at Walt Disney World, but do you know what? For me,
okay.
It's not the size of the castle. It's what they do with it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good motto in life in general. It's not how big, but how you use it. It's definitely some wise words to live by, gentlemen. Definitely. But Disneyland looking good. I will say I love the new paint job, which is not even really new anymore. It's been several years, but I'm telling you, the castle, the paint has lasted this time. It's really stayed.
I like the darker blue.
Oh, me too. It hasn't really faded. It still looks really fresh.
Just more at the top. Like it just needs a little bit of a paint job just because it's higher up.
Yeah.
So when the sun hits, so it does need a little bit of a touch on those upper spires.
Upper spire, yeah. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. All right, we're gonna hang a left here. We're gonna go to Bayou Country. Now we've been on Tiana's Bayou Adventure, George and I, and I love it. I thought it's a great attraction. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But you know what? Neither was Splash Mountain. That wasn't perfect either.
I agree. There was a lot of flaws in all rides, and honestly, I think if you already go with the mindset of being bitter about it, you're gonna find something wrong with it. Yes, are there issues at times with the audio animatronics? Does Disney need to address them? Yes and yes. But all in all, it's still a great ride.
Absolutely. I agree, Italiano.
And also, too, speaking of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I have to give a shout out to Disney Imagineer Sharita Carter. I got to meet her at the time of this recording yesterday for the D23's 30th anniversary of the Indiana Jones Adventure Ride.
Nice. Sharita, our friend Lucas Kim, him and I met Sharita at D23, and she is the sweetest woman. Really friendly.
She really is. Very down to earth, has a great sense of humor, and she loves to conversate.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she's a great person, and I always call her the technological pioneer because her and her team do amazing work.
Well, they do. I mean, and the thing is that she gets a lot of crap from the anti-woke movement. You know, we hear a lot about that stuff, right? But if you look at her roster of attractions, I mean, they're decent. I mean, I love Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I think Runaway Railway is a fantastic attraction. Tiana's turned out really good. I think the stuff that she's worked on has been really, really solid.
And even with what they were discussing yesterday, her contribution to the updates for Indiana Jones.
And her contribution to the updates of Indiana Jones, exactly. So her creative brilliance can't be underestimated. And a lot of people, you know, talk a lot of crap about her, but I do respect Sharita Carter a lot, and I do think she's done some great stuff here at Disney, and yeah, and she's a really lovely woman. So that's cool. We got to meet her yesterday.
Yeah, really cool. I actually made it my business to do so because like they were kind of just talking to different people after the presentation and the interview was over, and I thought I'm just like there was like no one like there, so I thought I'll take my opportunity, and like she was very welcoming, very sweet, very warm. So
Absolutely.
and it shows with her personality of how that is brought to the projects that she works on.
Right. Exactly. So this is the Rivers of America.
Which we were talking about that earlier over at DCA. But don't worry, folks. Disneyland's Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island is here to stay.
It's here to stay, and it's not. Look, a lot of Florida people, they'll tell you, well, Disneyland, you wouldn't want your Rivers of America to go away. No, but it's not the same. It's not apples and apples. Our Rivers of America house our Fantasmic. We have the Columbia, the Mark Twain. It's also got a lot of history tied to Walt himself.
And it flows nicely with New Orleans Square.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not an apples to apples thing. I mean, look, there are things in Florida that I wouldn't want to change that they did change here in California. A perfect example is our Tower of Terror. I mean, they turned ours into a Guardians of the Galaxy attraction. I love Mission Breakout. I think it's a great addition, but I don't want that going to Florida. Why? Because I think the Florida version works better with the theme that it has. So, you know, these things are not apples to apples comparisons. So just because people think that Disneyland's Rivers of America could stay doesn't make them a hypocrite. They're not the same thing.
No.
And the Rivers of America in Florida didn't really do much.
And it was kind of like lost in translation because you'd have the Rivers of America with Tom Sawyer Island. You had Splash Mountain at the time, now Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Right.
Really, neither one of them kind of fall into that category. So, like, as far as, like, the Frontier, they had to kind of create a storyline for it to fit. So it's just, like, kind of, like, update it just to make it a little more different. Plus, I want it to be different.
Yeah, exactly.
I want Disneyland and Walt Disney World to have different aesthetically pleasing experiences.
You have to have different personalities in these parks. Why am I going to go to Magic Kingdom to get a live-action Disneyland? Why would I go there? Magic Kingdom was not impressive to me, really. There were a few things in there. I love the mine train,
Yes.
the dwarfs thing. That was fun. But for the most part, Magic Kingdom felt like a diet Disneyland. Let's give that park its own identity. Let's make that park different, unique, special, like where it feels like, you know what? Yeah, you've been to Disneyland, but you got to go to Magic Kingdom. It's a different thing. You know, so it looks like the Madame Leota store has walls around it again.
Oh, interesting.
I heard a little rumor. It might have been from our friend Dave from Fresh Baked. Fresh Baked. Big shout out to Dave. I believe it was from Dave. Well, if it's not, shout out to Dave anyway.
Shout out to Dave.
that the concrete is having some issues.
Okay.
So they're redoing the concrete.
And hey, Disney is addressing issues.
They're addressing issues. We're heading into Bayou Country, everybody. Yeah, I like Tiana's. My first time on Tiana's was with Mr. Theme Park Wizard and our mutual friend Jalen, his family. Beautiful family. Loved hanging out with all of them. And we all loved Tiana's, man. And like I said, it's not a perfect attraction. It has its issues, you know. I think they could have done a little more with the outside, maybe add that boat on the top, or but
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm happy with what we got. And I think also logistically, from an operations standpoint, I think the queue works a lot better.
I do too. Yeah, the queue for Splash Mountain out here was it was like so bottlenecked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, absolutely, bro.
Now again, folks, we're coming into Bayou Country for a reason, for a purpose.
Oh yeah.
But it's not to ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but this is where potential theme park expansion will be for Disneyland Park once they kick off the expansions. But we do know that DCA is first.
Right.
before Disneyland, which rightfully so.
It
I
should
think
be.
I think DCA needs more TLC.
Oh, yeah.
Disneyland can kind of stand on its own right now.
Yeah. Well, Disneyland literally. I mean, I know it's 6 years old now. I mean, I get it. It's getting up there a little bit, but they just got a 14-acre expansion with Galaxy's Edge. I get it, 6 years ago, but still, that wasn't like that long ago, I guess. And they just got Mickey and Minnie's in a renovated Toontown. I think, and they just got Tiana's. I think it's DCA's turn to really get some big investment. So I think it's really smart for Disney to kind of go in that direction right now.
Yeah,
DCA needs it way more, and DCA is a weaker park in general. I mean,
it is.
So
now, as you can see, folks, as we're walking, we are still in Bayou Country. To the left of us is the standby queue for Tiana's, and to the right of us is Winnie the Pooh, which again kind of throws it off a little bit for me, being that you're calling it Bayou Country.
Yeah.
And Winnie the Pooh is set in
like
England.
Yeah.
But to kind of break that, it gives off. That's why I kind of wish they would have just kind of stayed Critter, in a sense, because right here is where the potential expansion will be for Disneyland Park. Right now, it is for cast members. It's the backstage area where cast members and characters that are meeting in the land go back there. But this area goes into the Lilo and Stitch parking lots,
which would be Disneyland Forward expansion.
Exactly. So what can possibly go there? Well, recently we've been to D23 last August,
right?
And we got a sneak peek of Zootopia 2, which will be coming out this year. And during the sneak peek, it's kind of set in a swampy marsh kind of marketplace. And you already have the critters of the bayou. You have Winnie the Pooh. And if it's a swampy marsh market, that's the setting for Zootopia 2, that could be a nice segue into expansion for Zootopia over here at Disneyland, because we know that Disney's probably going to want to get out of the theme that they used for the Zootopia land at Shanghai.
Right.
So they can kind of take a different approach where they can still utilize the same IP, but in a different way.
Right, exactly. No, exactly. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. It would work. It would absolutely work. All right, so we're walking back through here now. Very busy Bayou Country. Very, very busy. It looks like a lot of people waiting for Tiana's. The outrage, the years of outrage.
That no one would ride it, that no one would like it.
That no one would like this attraction because it's Tiana now, have been proven false. The ride is very popular. It has just as many people now as it did before. So that is good news. That is very, very good news. And it should. Tiana's is a great ride. And I want to make it clear, I don't think it's perfect. I'm not shilling. I just think it's a good ride.
Despite you having your name on a window on Main Street.
Right, exactly. Despite Orange Grove being on Main Street on a window, I am not shilling. I am not shilling. But yeah, no, in all seriousness though, Tiana's fun ride. Fun ride. We got a 65-minute wait right now over at Tiana's. Now we're heading over to... Oh, look at that, dude. Look at the Mark Twain. Choo-choo. Boop, boop.
See, that's where it fits so perfectly, intertwining with New Orleans Square, Bayou Country. It's...
Oh, it's perfect, dude.
And despite that they had to cut down some of the river, which they did alter it in a way for Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, they did. We have a shorter river due to Galaxy's Edge.
I think it's kind of enough, though, to be honest.
I think it's plenty. I don't really even notice it. And plus the addition of the train going through that back area, you can see it right here. I just love that, man. The train going over that bridge and the waterfalls and the whole thing. It's just beautiful. They did a really good job on it.
They did. And then as part of the change of Critter Country into Bayou Country, Hungry Bear stayed, but it became Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree, which, again, with the wording, why would they use Jamboree? Like, they could have just called it Hungry Bear Barbecue.
They could have.
But to add Jamboree, again, I think Disney may consider adding Country Bears. And here's the thing. Something like that, they don't have to wait for the second part of the 10 years.
Right.
That's a project that they can kind of add as a pop-up.
Right.
They could announce that anytime.
That's true.
Might be an announcement for at Destination D23 this upcoming year.
It's possible. I would hope so. I would really, really hope so. So we'll see.
I think I was shocked.
Walking into a galaxy far, far away. Far, far away.
Pew, 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 pew.
You can hear it.
Pew.
And I have to say, too, it is so much more appealing of the transition of how it moves into Galaxy's Edge
Oh, yeah.
than Walt Disney World.
Oh, 100%.
Because you either enter through a tunnel, which kind of like reminds me of the tunnel from Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Yeah.
or the transition from Toy Story Land into Galaxy's Edge.
Right. Exactly. No, this is a beautiful transition. They did a great job. They really, really did.
And I wanted to come over here because pretty soon they're going to add some new additions. For a limited time, they're going to add Luke Skywalker into the land. And they're also going to do a kind of Skywalker trilogy nighttime show tied to the fireworks. So it's going to be very interesting. I like how Disney is adding subtle things to the land.
Oh, me too.
And kind of paying tribute to the original trilogy. That's really cool.
Yeah. No, well said. Absolutely.
But I also
people wanted the original trilogy here, and we're finally getting it. So look,
Exactly.
fandom, if you're going to complain about something for years on end, and when Disney finally does it, give them credit for it. You know, we want them to do more of the things that we ask, right? So yeah, take a break from complaining for a second. Give them the credit, because if you hand clap and congrats them, you know that rhymes. But if you congrats hand clap when they do the good stuff, we'll get more of the good stuff. You know,
Exactly.
So I think it's a good thing. And but again, you also have to call them out when they're not doing what they should be doing. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. So.
Exactly. And I wanted to come into here because, you know, even though we're talking about like expansion, and even though Disney didn't make that announcement yet, I think in time they're going to have to answer to it. And one of the big draws that people were excited for when they first made the announcement of Galaxy's Edge was an immersive sit-down restaurant. And we never got that on either coast.
Right.
It was supposed to be connected to Oga's Cantina. Oga's Cantina was only supposed to be the bar lounge area for the restaurant.
Right.
So I wanted to mention that because there's still a chance that we can get a full sit-down restaurant experience because there was room for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, George.
Yes.
I want to show you something right here. Come here. Right here is what my little Yorkie looks like after a bath. That's what my little Yorkie looks like after a bath. What is this little maggot?
Your dogs might love that.
Yeah, they would. Oh, man. My little dog. I got a dog named Mickey and a dog named Little Guy. George has met both. They are amazing guys.
They're so sweet.
Really cuties. They're real cuties, you know. So, but yeah, we got small dogs. Oh, we got the. Who do we got? We got Mando outside, huh?
We do.
A little kinetic energy for y'all at home. Little kinetic energy. We got Mando with a little baby Grogu. Oh, look at that.
I love like when Mando and Grogu are out.
Oh, me too.
It's like the Beatles are out.
Oh, I know. it might as well. You know, it might as well be the Beatles at that point.
Which really goes to show you that for fans, they don't care about a timeline. They don't care about. They love immersive story. We love immersive story.
But
we
you
love
can
the
get too in
creativity.
the weeds with that.
But when you kind of create a lore in a theme park environment, it's too much.
It's too much, man. Yeah, you gotta look. You want to be true to theme, but you also want to have fun, right? So there has to be a line drawn. Like, you know, you have to sort of still, you know, you don't want to be too rigid with stuff. I mean, even Walt Disney wasn't that rigid with a lot of things. I mean, he did have a monorail circling the Swiss Alps at Disneyland. I mean, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
But Walt was like, I don't care. I'm going to have fun with this thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to have fun, you know?
There's exception to every rule.
Yeah. I mean, you got to, you know, got to chill a little bit. Can you read Arabesh?
I cannot. I am very curious to know what that says.
That right there says sticky Disney news and info right there.
There you go.
In Arabic. I just translated it.
There you go. Staying on brand.
Yeah.
I have to say, even though, as I mentioned all the time on Orange Grove 55, that they need to add more meat and potatoes to that boiling pot of water.
Yeah.
I have to say, that boiling pot of water, in the case of this, is spot on.
Spot on, broski. Look at that. Look how gorgeous. The Millennium Falcon. Don't get cocky, kid. Don't get cocky.
I also wanted to mention, too, that there was supposed to be a third attraction that was tied to this land, which was basically guests riding on the back of the banthas.
Right, exactly.
That was going to be kind of like transporting you throughout the land.
Which would have been awesome.
Which would have been cool. We'll be coming up on that shortly, where the entranceway would have been. But here is Oga's Cantina.
Yep, just past Oga's.
So behind this is supposedly the expansion pad for the restaurant, because again, it was supposed to be connected to Oga's.
Yep. We talked on the channel before, like, where would we live if we could live at Disneyland? I don't know. That little apartment right there might be pretty good. I might actually want to, I would live in there. I don't know. Live my own Star Wars adventure.
There you go. Waking up to bright suns.
Yeah, waking up to bright suns. Well, I do wake up early, man. We stayed at Nevada together. I was up at like 5:30 getting my coffee.
You were. You were very energized.
Yeah, Mr. Webb and Italiano were still sleeping, and I was walking over getting my coffee. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I'm an early riser. I really am. I don't know. I'm a morning guy. But I'm not quite the morning guy that Bob Iger is. But from what I'm hearing, he was interviewed years ago, and he was saying he gets up at 4 a.m. every day and does his workout.
He does his workout. That's right.
He's making big moves as a CEO. 4 a.m. workouts. So.
Oh, really quick.
Yeah.
Because I think we're exiting. I just wanted to show the
Sure.
where the bantha.
Oh yeah. Let's go. We're heading towards the banthas, everybody. Or the
lack thereof.
Yeah, the banthas that never were. The banthas that never were.
Is it just me? But again, it really shows like how aesthetically connect this land is, that I always get lost here.
Yeah.
Like, I can never really say, if someone asks me, like, I could tell you how to get directions to Galaxy's Edge.
Right.
But if you were to say, where is this to this, I'm so horrible with that.
Yeah. No, I feel you. We're passing by my apartment again.
Yeah.
There we go, everybody. And this is Michael Ebba's house. He doesn't like anyone visiting him, so we're gonna let Michael Ebba do Michael Ebba things in there.
He works for Marvel, but lives in Star Wars.
Yes, absolutely. Look at that. Look at it. Look at these grand reveals. You can't get more Star Warsy than that. That's pretty Star Warsy right there. This is the best part of Galaxy's Edge.
I agree. Like, right there. They could just have that, and I would have been satisfied.
Yeah.
Well, minus, of course, with Rise.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. All right, so we're going through here. George is going to show us the Bantha tracks. All right. Like your shirt.
Thank you, man.
All right, here we go. I mean, look, we've said it so many times on the channel. Galaxy's Edge is a beautifully themed area. I mean, it really did hit all the marks in terms of the theming. Aesthetically, it's perfect. It just needs, like George is saying, some meat and potatoes in that pot. Or as I always say, it's a big mansion, a beautiful house with no furniture.
Exactly.
Like, okay, so we're going to make it right.
The HGOGTV.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we got the stormtroopers out.
We got some stormtroopers out. There we go.
Oh, perfect. Actually, we're right here. Actually, right over here to the left side was actually where the entranceway would be with the platform to add the Bantha attractions. You would basically kind of interweave all through here, and you'd kind of go on an upper platform, and you'd board the Banthas.
There we go. Now, when George said you would board the Banthas, don't get any ideas in your head at all.
Yeah.
He means in a very clean way, you would board the Banthas.
Exactly. You never know with the Italiano.
You never know. You never know. You never know. All right, here we go. We're going through. We're exiting Galaxy's Edge. Next stop, what? Toontown?
Toontown.
Remember that Toontown? Toontown. Gonna make it Toontown. Toontown. Ding, 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 ding. For all you Californians watching this, which most of our audience is probably Californians, in the comments, do you guys and gals remember KCal 9? And like all the Disney stuff they used to have on KCal 9, like the Disney specials, like the opening of Toontown and the KCal Kids show. Remember? Dude, I'm telling you, we had
That's
out
crazy.
here in Cali, bro, it was like KCal 9 was the channel. That was before Disney bought ABC. So Disney used a lot of KCal 9 stuff. Now, I'm going to get a drink here. So I'm going to hand over the camera to Mr. Italiano to talk to you for a little bit. And I'll be right back, everybody.
So, yeah, kind of going off what OG was mentioning about,
Jasmine.
like he was
How are
mentioning before Disney
I think
bought
you sound-
ABC and what have you. There was also a special
Yeah, do you take, gift card?
I used to watch on when they did have the Disney Channel in the early 90s. It was
How's your day
a
going?
little band called Craig and Company.
started.
I don't know if any of you have heard of it or have watched it, but he had
No,
did
I'm
a
good.
concert at Disneyland.
All right, have a good one.
And it was called Mickey's Rockin' Toontown, where they actually held the concert in Toontown. And it kind of gave off a little bit like of a cheesy, kind of like how the B-52s did their singing, and he would like sing about like getting a haircut and everything. It was kind of cheesy, kind of corny, but
We're
it-
rocking Toontown.
Yes. Oh man, I used to watch that special. Like I wore out that VHS tape, and for all of you younglings out there, a VHS tape is what we use to watch videos and movies
Yep.
that you put in a VCR player or recorder.
And remember, be kind, rewind.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we used to do that all the time with Blockbuster.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we are moving on into Toontown. We're leaving, as OG had mentioned, Galaxy's Edge. But first, we're actually going to be walking through Fantasyland to get to Toontown. Now, we will kind of circle back past the other way of Fantasyland because there is something that is worth mentioning that goes into Tomorrowland. So, for future expansion as well. But we'll get into that a little bit. But right now, yeah, we're walking through Fantasyland. to get to Toontown. And also, too, there is potential expansion for Fantasyland just outside of Toontown.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll actually
Absolutely.
address that right before we enter through.
Walking through Fantasyland, busy land. It's always really crowded around this area.
And what I love about Fantasyland is nowadays, Disney, when they make their lands, it's just based off of one IP.
Right.
And you'd have like one or two attractions. And it's really a shame because I miss the lands where you could have like an overall theme of multiple IPs. Because like you got here,
well, and
Casey Jr.
I like both, but I think that Disney likes to get into this thing where they only do one. I think there should be a mix. There should be some variety,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they get stuck in these trends, and that's all they do then,
Exactly.
It's like with the Disney princesses, right? They're like, yeah, we're going to make a princess that doesn't need a prince, which is awesome. I agree. That's awesome. It's cool to mix it up. But then every princess didn't need a prince then after that. And then it became a trope in and of itself. Like, you can mix it up. It's okay to have maybe a movie where a princess wants to get into a relationship. I think that's okay, But Disney likes to follow these trends where they just kind of like do one thing and stick with it.
I agree. Always right here, bro. Is always like a cluster for some reason.
Yeah.
Like because of the stroller parking and everything. It's always. But you know what? A lot of people complain. I take it as a good sign because when you have a little bit of clusters, that means Disney's doing well.
That does. But you know what, George? We wouldn't be locals if we didn't do this. Hold my soda for me, please, sir. Look at the rust on that, bro. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
That just ruined my whole day.
That's horrible. Like Disney, you need to get on that.
Obviously I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding, but there are people that will literally do that. And it's pretty hilarious. You come to these places to have a good time, everybody. You come to these places to have a good time.
I mean, again, where would you find somewhere like with Storybook Canals on one side, and then you have Alice in Wonderland on the right?
Exactly. Look at that.
Lily!
I love the teacups.
I do too.
Not even the ride. I just love the kinetic energy and the vibe that
it's
it
there.
gives. Yeah. I get a little sick on it. Although the last time I went on it was kind of recently. I was here with our friend Danny from Five Fires. And we rode that one together. And those bad boys can spin.
They actually move even if you don't even spin it. Like, they move very fast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, do have to make a little point of note here that in front of us is It's a Small World, the original It's a Small World. And we got breaking news some time ago that they're actually adding, again, something that I had mentioned a long time ago, the third, the final verse that Richard Sherman, the beloved Richard Sherman, wrote right before his passing.
Yes.
And they are adding it to It's a Small World, which...
Awesome tribute to him.
Definitely. And honestly, there was like a little YouTube short that I had seen on social media. And I appreciate the playing of the music, but I'm trying to talk here. But
can't you see I'm talking here?
I'm talking here, huh? But they actually had one child singing the last verse, just one child.
Oh, wow.
So it makes me wonder if they're just going to have one doll sing the last verse, like right before you exit out of the tunnel.
That would be interesting.
So right before we enter into Toontown, this is what I was mentioning, the Fantasyland Theater, or as OG loves to call it, the Wonder Bra Theater.
The Wonder Bra Theater. To all you folks that are older and have been in the Disney community for a long time, if you're in if you were in the Disneyland forums in the mid to late 90s, you would know that name, the Wonder Bra Theater. That was the name that the fans gave this theater back then when it came about.
But if you look at all that room up there, I mean, you could potentially add an expansion of Fantasyland.
Oh yeah. Now, real quick, I want to say with Toontown, we're gonna go under the bridge. I love the sound package with this thing.
I do too.
You have the train tracks above for the Disneyland Railroad. As you go through, they have a cartoon train, and we'll kind of park it. You kind of heard it.
Yeah, see, like it's like
There it is.
something that's going on up there.
Yeah, like a cartoon train overhead. I think Disney did a great job with that. You got the cartoon birds in the trees.
But I have to say, I mean, we all thought that Toontown was going to be on the chopping block.
Nope.
For a Fantasyland expansion.
Yeah,
but no,
or Galaxy's Edge even.
Yeah, and no, they saved it. You know, they revitalized it. They made it new, and I have to say, since the new change and update, and the addition to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, along with Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin and Gadget's Go Coaster, this land is really booming.
It's popping, bro. It's popping like Orville Redenbacher. It's banging like a blood on Friday. And we got these little birdies over here. What's his name? I think his name is Chubbs, right?
Chubbs, I believe.
We got Chubbs, a little bird, little birdie. And earlier we were talking about the Rivers of America in Florida, and how, you know, it's not the same as the one out here in California. It's not apples to apples, y'all. It's not apples to apples.
Got to stay in that theme.
You got to stay in theme. Absolutely.
But I wanted to bring us into Toontown because not that there would be a significant big change as far as like adding like new attractions and stuff, but I thought this was well mentioning because this could be an expansion that could actually help foot traffic and park operation.
Oh, absolutely.
So as,
absolutely.
Yeah, we're passing Mickey and Minnie's house, which I'm so glad that they decided to keep.
Oh, yeah.
They got rid of them in Florida, and I was so bummed.
I would love to live in Mickey's house. When I was a kid, I used to want to live in Mickey's house. Mickey's house is amazing inside. I absolutely love it. And then we're going to go through here. We got the Go Coaster. Oh, man, that turn is nuts, bro. Nuts.
So we're coming to the back part here of Toontown, and it's like a resting area where you can kind of get out of the sun, you know, kind of chill a little bit. But what a lot of people don't know is...
And I'm going to stay back a little bit. I don't want to... People are resting with their families, but I'll stay back here, bro.
Okay, cool. So I'll just kind of go...
But the mic will pick you up.
Yeah, it'll pick me. Yeah, so yeah, beyond in here is the little cave area, and beyond that wall could potentially be a walking path that can connect Toontown to Galaxy's Edge. So there could possibly finally be a full circle walkway out of Toontown instead of having a one-way.
Yeah, and eventually that will come. We thought it would come with the new Toontown and Galaxy's Edge, but it didn't. But eventually it will. Eventually it will. Just a matter of time. I love Toontown. It reminds me of my younger years. I was a kid when this land opened in, was it 93, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
And it was I don't know. The 90s were a good time for me. I was like 12 or whatever when this thing opened, 11 or 12. But it was just a magical time. This land opened, and you had Disney Afternoon on TV every day after school. It was just a great time to be a kid, bro.
Yeah, the 90s. I'm also a 90s kid, and I tell you what, like for me, and I'm not just saying to be biased that was the era that I grew up in.
No, it was good.
The '90s was like the stuff.
Yeah, the '90s really were the Disney decade, right? Like, excuse me. The '90s were the Disney decade. The '80s, not so much. Like, I was a little kid in the '80s, and everything I liked in the '80s had nothing to do with Disney. It was kind of funny. Like, I was all into He-Man and Transformers and Smurfs and even like Care Bears and stuff. You know, My Little Pony. I was a brony as a kid. I was a brony.
But I think too, the '80s was a time where
Disney was struggling.
Disney was still struggling, coming out of the '70s. You know, after the passing of Walt, they didn't know what direction to go to without their fearless leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it wasn't until literally the very end, the back end of the '80s, 1989, with The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, absolutely. Heading into the post office. I gotta get some mail for my girlfriend, George. Don't mind me.
Yeah.
There she is, my lovely lady.
Yeah.
My lovely lady. All right.
Just walking right through, bro.
Walking right through. Walking right through. Crowded day. A lot of people at the parks. Disney lives. Disney lives.
Yeah, I know. They're like really suffering.
Yeah, I know, bro. I know the company is completely collapsing. But what can we do, bro?
It's out of our control.
It's out of our control. Hey, dude, Disney had a good run, you know?
Yeah, it did.
It had a good run.
It only was like, what, 102 years?
Only 102 years.
102.
Here we go with that amazing sound package. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. That's awesome. Great stuff. You can see right off to the distance the majestic Matterhorn.
So anyway, this would be a great add-on for a potential Fantasyland expansion. I mean, they could knock out this theater and all the way in the backstage area, and potentially for Frozen or Tangled or anything really, because as we were talking about it earlier with the Fantasyland area, there's tons of IP that is utilized. So basically the sky's the limit for this area. And I really don't think they're going to do too much as far as like a full-on show anymore. I think they're just going to utilize it for special events and small mini shows. But I think for the most part, I think it's to Disney's best interest to just kind of remove this and add some new areas here. I mean, even do Beauty and the Beast, like, because since it's going on an upward hill, you can kind of put the Beast Castle here. It's out of the way from Sleeping Beauty Castle, and I would love to see a rendition of Tokyo's Beauty and the Beast ride, even if it's not the exact same, but I would love to see something of Beauty and the Beast. It's my all-time favorite Disney animated film, and, you know, nominated for Best Picture, which I'm with OG. It should have won over Silence of the Lambs, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, take out the Fantasyland Theater, or the Wonder Bra Theater, as we call it, and put in Beauty and the Beast, Frozen, Tangled, something. Come on, Disney. But as we come along here, I had mentioned it earlier, but not in full detail, that Imagineer Scott Trowbridge took to social media and in the area of the motorboat area, which we're coming up to now, the motorboat area that runs out of Fantasyland into Tomorrowland is up for grabs. Because especially too, I mean, the motorboat attraction has been down and closed permanently for years. And it's just, again, another space that's just being unoccupied. and Disney can utilize it for future expansion. And again, that could be for Fantasyland. That could even be for a new Tomorrowland, because I think we all agree that both Tomorrowlands, at Walt Disney World and Disneyland need some upgrade. So we'll so hopefully in time, because I would love for them to kind of go with like the Fantastic Four kind of route with like that retro style. That would be really cool if they can add Fantastic Four to Tomorrowland. And again, this area over here, right here, and this is actually the shot that I believe Scott Trowbridge used. And honestly, dare I say it, folks, I'm sorry, and sorry to Dave from Fresh Baked. I know he loves this attraction, but Autopia, I mean, that's a big chunk of prime real estate. You could actually add a new land in the spot for Autopia. That's how big it is. If you were to take it out and level the land. And then as we come around, as I had mentioned, with Tomorrowland, I hope in time that they can do something with the overall aesthetics of the land. They can do something even with the subs. I mean, I know right now they're being used for the Nemo submarine voyage. Keep the lagoon. The lagoon is aesthetically beautiful. It's awesome. But this is actually where we thought Avatar was going to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always thought that it would be a perfect segue from Fantasy to Tomorrow. You know, that franchise is kind of perfect for that.
It really
straddle
is.
These two lands. So this whole submarine lagoon and, you know, motorboat area and Autopia would have been a great spot for Pandora, but nope, it's going into DCA.
Yeah. And yeah, like if they could do something with the old Carousel of Progress building, maybe do something with the People Mover track, maybe even bring back a newer rendition of the People Mover, that would be great. But yeah, only time will tell. I think if they do anything with Tomorrowland, it's going to be on the back end of, 10 years. If even that, or even beyond.
Yeah, Tomorrowland's not a priority to them. I mean, look at how busy it is right now. I mean, the attractions themselves are still packing them in. So
the only way that they probably will touch Tomorrowland is when they do the expansion for Disneyland into the Lilo and Stitch parking lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So once they add like a new area or a new land, that can free up the time for Tomorrowland. Because they're also not going to want to take down Space Mountain right now.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But look, I mean, it's still busy in here. And even Autopia still, you know, brings them in. You know, I agree with you. I wish they would get rid of it, but, you know, they don't have any incentive to really dig into all this right now, just because it's still pretty popular with the normies.
It is. And again, there's more of Autopia. Again, it's massive, that plot of land. See, and they could do something with this. A lot of potential. But yeah, it's just not on Disney's top priority list right now.
Yeah, and that launch bay building, I mean, if you look at that launch bay building, it's massive. I mean, whether you put something else in there or whether you bulldoze it and you build on top of it, I mean, you can do a lot with that land right there. And there's the mighty Space Mountain.
Yes. I do love the color package that they gave it at night. Again, it gave that retro feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I kind of hope they do that with the entire land.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Okay.
So we're passing by Space Mountain. We got the ugly pizza planet next door.
I think it's just honestly a visual thing with Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
It's
an aesthetics problem for sure. It's very like mishmashy. It's multiple decades of Tomorrowlands kind of layered on top of each other. And it's just, oh, here, George. For members only, you can watch George eat a pickle.
Yeah.
Members only.
Oh, that's great. just sit and dine.
Just
and
a guy
have myself
enjoying a pickle. There you go. We got the old remnants of the old people mover track above us. Sad. But maybe one day it'll come back. Bring it back, Disney. We know you watch OG55. Bring it back.
And honestly, it really does feel that way because a lot of the stuff that we talk about on the Orange Grove 55 channel,
Yeah.
and it's like stuff that a lot of people don't mention,
Right.
but yet that's the stuff that Disney does or changes.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And everybody, thank you for tuning into Citrico Central, George's news channel, for vlogging, in park, boots on the ground, coverage, and these walk and talks with me and the Italiano. You know, we like to do these, speculate, get nerdy, and then George also does vlogs with his fiance Abigail. You know, like those, like Lunar New Year. You guys recently did a video for that.
Yeah, we cover a lot of the special events. We'll cover like food reviews and a lot of the new stuff that comes in to the parks as well. We'll try to do our best to be on location as it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are bringing you all along with us.
Take my hand. Let's go to Italianoville. Here we go. You gotta love the natural beauty of Disneyland. Love these trees and just beautiful. What a lovely day. What a beautiful, beautiful day. So we're exiting the park now. Walking through a very busy main street. Italiano, any final words before we get out of here, brother?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video as you came along with us with part 1 and part 2 of potential future expansions for Disneyland Park and Disney California Adventure. If you want to see more videos like this, please comment down below. Tell us what you think. As I said, we just ask, please keep it civil. Like, subscribe, smash that notification bell. This is the first of many to come. And as I always say in Italiano style, stay healthy, stay safe, stay Disney. Italiano out. And before we do,
now
one more shot of Sleeping Beauty Castle, folks. Ain't she a beaut? Okay, and at this time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Disney. Italiano out.